Let's get inside Amir Khan's camp. We're joined on the telephone by his trainer, Freddie Roach. Hi, Freddie.
How you doing?
Oh, very good. How have the preparations been going for Amir?
He's doing great. You know, we just had a good meal, and I'm putting him in bed pretty soon, and we're just getting ready for tomorrow.
A couple of points that the guys have made before Steve comes in is this step up in weight for Amir Khan tomorrow. How confident are you that he can make that transition and be strong at the higher weight limit?
I think it's a good move for Amir because he has trouble making 135. I think he was dehydrating himself and making himself weak, and then trying to hydrate himself in a short time. Yeah, I think the 140-pound division is much more natural for him. He ate 3 meals yesterday, and he had breakfast this morning before the weigh-in. So he's healthy, strong, hydrated, and I think it's a better way for him. I think he'll be more resilient. He'll be able to take a better shot and be much stronger.
Because that is one of the reasons for some guys going up if they move up in weight, Freddie. The suggestion being that making the previous weight was draining them and taking away their punch resistance. I mean, are you hoping that's the case, or is that what you've seen when he's been sparring?
Well, I can see it in the sparring, but you know the thing is he's never had a problem in the gym before. But you know the Prescott fight, he just walked into a shot and he made a mistake and he paid for it. And he's learning from his mistakes, and he's improving all the time. And he's more mature now, and I think he's a much more mature fighter now than he was in that one fight. He came a long way in a short time.
Freddie, he's been working out with Manny Pacquiao, of course, in the gym. What's he learned from fighting with him?
Well, you know, he holds his own with the best pound-for-pound fighter in the gym, and they go at it for, you know, I only use him with Pacquiao for about 4 rounds because Pacquiao takes over after about 4 because he's a little bit, too smart for Amir. He sets him up after a while, but Amir and him are good for 4 rounds. And then I have a couple other sparring partners that I use with Amir. One's 18-0 with 18 knockouts, and Amir, he gets the best of him every day. And he shows me he's a world-class fighter. He belongs in this title fight.
No, Freddie, if I can just ask you here from Paris, it's Mike Costello. You were talking there about how Pacquiao takes over. If we're looking at the likes of Pacquiao or maybe Floyd Mayweather being absolutely A+ in terms of class, where would Amir, where can he reach eventually?
Well, I think he can reach that level, but he's still very young, and he still needs to grow a little bit and be a little bit more mature. You know, he's just 22 years old, and you know, he is still young. And I think he's going to develop into a very good fighter, though. I think he has the potential to be an A+ fighter also.
Now, Freddie, one thing that I've read or heard you talk about is the fact that if Amir were to win tomorrow, in all likelihood, you'd probably get rid of the WBA belt rather than fight some of the mandatory type guys out there, which suggests to me that you're still not fully confident in him as a fighter, fully confident enough to put him in with some, say, tougher or harder punching guys.
Well, the thing is, to fight the top guys, it's risk and reward. And the thing, you know, I want to make sure he's ready for the fights when he gets there. And, you know, he's not ready for the Manny Pacquiaos and the Mayweathers yet. No, he still has a little ways to go. Mm-hmm. He's heading in that direction, though. And, you know, they wanted to fight the guy that just knocked out Victor Ortiz. Yep. And, you know, the guy's 26 fights with 25 knockouts. Yeah, why would I fight him right now? Because nobody knows who he is. There's no payday there. They need to build that fight up. That's all I'm saying is build these big fights up and make the money that you're supposed to make when you fight those tough guys.
Freddie, what dangers do you see from Kotelnik tomorrow?
Well, you know, he's a very defensive fighter. He has a passive defense, and he's a little bit of a slow starter, and he comes on at the end. He wants you to wait. You know, he tries to block punches, and he starts slow because he likes to get you to wear yourself out on just trying to knock him out. He's getting pretty good chin, so we're going to go to the body a lot because he's a little bit soft downstairs, and We're going to try to slow him down in the later rounds, and I expect Amir to win the 12-round decision, though.
It's obviously a big night for him, Freddie, because it's not that long ago that we saw the Bradis-Prescott fight. If he doesn't win tomorrow, or certainly if he's stopped tomorrow, does that leave Amir Khan anywhere else to go?
Well, you know, he's fighting for the world title, so, I mean, he's fighting one of the best fighters in the world right now, and even though he's not that well known, but he's still, you know, he is world champion, so, you know, losing to a world champion is no disgrace, but I don't see that happen. I really think Amir's ready for this fight. We've watched the tapes on Prescott quite a bit. I mean, on Kotelnik, we know his style, we know how to beat him, and the side, the in and out and lateral movement is going to be very important in this fight. But I really can't see us losing this fight, to be honest with you. I think his style is made for us.
Freddie, thanks for your insight tonight.
Thank you very much, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, Freddie.
That's Freddie Roach, the trainer of Amir Khan, the trainer of Manny Pacquiao as well. He's on quite a run, isn't he, Freddie Roach, at the moment? He's winning the big ones.
Yeah, he wants Amir to be his 25th champion, but they put in some serious behind closed doors sessions, and I think we're going to see an Amir that's tight, that runs. I think we're going to see Amir with serious rope burns on his back, a la Suleiman and Bayi. I see that being about the Freddie's not stupid. He used to when he used to fight, he was stupid. He admits it. He never listened to a thing he was told. As a trainer, he's not stupid.
St Helens 16 weight. Costello, I just said there to Freddie Roach that if Amir Khan loses tomorrow, where does he go? Is that a fair point? I mean, he lost emphatically, didn't he, to Prescott? And what's come from yourself and Steve tonight is this is probably the weakest world champion that he could possibly face at this stage of his career.
Yes,
if he doesn't win tomorrow, then it doesn't leave him many options, does it?
No, it doesn't, and he'll have to spend some time in the undergrowth because the lightweight division is so strong at the moment with heavy hitters, not just good champions but heavy hitters, and so he's going to spend a long time in boxing's wilderness after this, even with the might of the likes of Frank Warren behind him, and that's why this fight is so important. But what an education to listen to Freddie Roach dissecting a fight in the way that he does. And I know he's on a good roll, as you said there, Darren, but he's been with losers as well. You know, I've been ringside when he's been with Bernard Hopkins, who lost with Oscar De La Hoya, with Mike Tyson against Danny Williams. So, you know, he learns from those as well. He's been through every situation in boxing.
And they've all turned on him, those guys. Mike, let me the point. I think the real point about the loss is if Amir Khan loses on points tomorrow and survives maybe one or two shocks, then I think that just puts him back a little bit. The danger is here if there's a stoppage defeat. And what Freddie did say in a forensic interview that our friend Steve Lillis did with him last week has still not been published. There's a line that says, if he gets stopped by this guy, and let's face it, this guy's not a big banger, then I think we'd have to all sit down and have a serious talk. Now, he's not repeated that all week, and I'm wondering if Steve Lillis, when he did the interview about 10 days ago, was told by various people. I think we just dropped that piece, Steve, because he's not been singing that this week. But that, to me, that's a fairly damning piece of honesty from our man Freddie.
Yes, there is, and there's a lot of evidence, Steve, to suggest that maybe Amir Khan hasn't got the constitution for high-level, battle-hardened opponents. If you look against Michael Gomez, he was hurt to the body, not just against the chin, against Willie Lim and others who've hurt him in the past. Now, listening to Freddie about him going up in weight and being able to eat three good meals a day and breakfast on the day of the weigh-in, maybe. I've seen it turn it round for other fighters in the past who've gone there much stronger for not having to really drain away to make the weight. But you know, we're going to get a lot of answers on Saturday night, and it's much more than one fight here at stake for Amir Khan.
You know, Mike, when we've been ringside, even when he's won, you know, I've had a constant thing. I want to see him go up in weight. I don't like him at that weight, and the camp's been split. Some people in the camp are saying it's nothing to do with weight, and some of the more realistic people in the camp have been saying, you know, perhaps weight is a factor. I'm pleased, and I agree with Freddie, that the £5 will help Amir. However, I don't think Amir, and I agree with you, realises just how different it will be up there with those slightly heavier boys.
And to allow sorry, Darren, just quickly, to allow some leeway. I mean, we're talking about Aladu back in 2004 at the age of 17, was a lightweight, and you know is still a lightweight now, and only just moving up to light welterweight. So you know he has had the scope to grow, and maybe now it's actually happening.
You'll hear the fight on 5 Live tomorrow. A point I want to